Hey everybody, today Gameosity is taking a Kickstarter preview of a game that we're kind of pretty excited about. You might remember that a little while ago, Jess here did a review of Sparkle Kitty, where a bunch of princesses are trapped in a tower and they need to rescue themselves. Well, good news everybody, it's time for the princesses to just step aside because now it's the knight's time to get some action.
Because they showed up late.
And got locked in.
So Sparkle Kitty Knights is pretty similar to the original Sparkle Kitty, with some new added rules and a naughty theme thrown on top.
Yes, it's the same kind of core game. It's still, mechanically speaking, it's a shedding game. You're trying to get rid of your cards as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. There are a few little gameplay changes that I think make it kind of more interesting and more fun in some ways, but inescapably, we are going to have to bring up the fact that this particular version of the game has a lot more
innuendo?
I was going to say sausage.
Yes.
Which is one of the words.
True.
Yes. Than the original version. Now, it's worth noting, before we go much further, that it is not adult in the sense that it is explicit. It's not. It is innuendo-laden.
I think we've got a shaved furry.
Oh! Wait. Double shaved furry. Whoa! Oh. Yeah. And we actually think that's actually a lot funnier than if they were super blunt.
It lets you make the humor yourself. You know, you're piecing together words like fluffy and butter and moist, and it's up to you and your brain to figure out what about it is naughty.
Yeah, because, you know, cuddle booty is a thing.
It could be perfectly innocuous until
it's not. Cuddle booty's never innocuous.
Moist finger.
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you did.
There it is.
Moist booty.
There you
go.
Hey now. It's one of the best kinds, really. Yep. And anyway, the basics are this. Essentially, each player is a knight, and they are trapped in their respective towers, just like the princesses were. But as just said, the princesses are long gone. They use their magic to get out, and so the knights are just sort of like piecing together the spells that they find laying around, and whispering them into the keyhole.
The interesting difference between this one and the original is that everyone is playing on teams.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's instead of a solo game, every player is on one of two teams unless you're playing with an odd number.
Then you have the dragon.
The dragon shows up, right?
And the dragon eats people. That's how he wins.
Right, exactly.
Or she.
She. Dragon's a she. However, the teams are hidden. So you don't know which other players at the table are your allies or not, because you only win if your entire team manages to escape from their towers.
That actually worked really well for us.
Yeah.
You and Diana had convinced me and Josh that we were on opposite sides, and it was not until the very end that we figured out, like, oh, well, we've been working against each other this entire time.
Right, because it's not precisely a deduction game, because there's a very limited amount of information exchange. You can lie, you can tell the truth, you know what team you're on. And there are a couple of cards that will let you peek at another player's what team they're on. And so, it ends up being this kind of like minor part of the game, but also a really important part of the game.
Most of the game is just giggling at the funny words.
That's totally true.
Too many jokes.
If that part of Sparkle Kitty was fun for you, then this is going to be just as fun, except maybe a little more gamerly, where you have this sort of like logic of, I can. Now that I've emptied my hand, I can pull a card not just from my own tower, because the goal is to empty your hand and pull cards out of your tower, and once your tower doesn't have any cards in it, you're free.
Does she reveal? Is that what you
that reveals? So
you're free!
We now know what team you're on.
Well, that's me!
You're on
Wait.
team...
What?
I guess you're on Josh's team. you can actually begin to empty other people's towers as well. So there's this value in like them trying to get you on their side, basically.
Yeah, because basically you can't win until your team member is also free.
Right. However many of them there are. Or, as we said before, in the case of an odd number of players, the dragon can reveal themselves, basically, at any time, and once the dragon manages... If the dragon empties someone else's tower, then they eat them, and the dragon wins the game because they've had a delicious meal. Overall, this is very much... It's Sparkle Kitty.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Sparkle Kitty, which is a game that we had a tremendous amount of fun with. And I have to say, like, being adult or whatever for adultness' sake is a crutch very frequently in game design.
Yeah, I had worried when I first heard about this one that it was going to be something like that, or it was just going to be too in your face and obscene, and it was just going to ruin the experience. But it actually works really well. They managed to stay away from sort of...
like, truly explicit concepts. But, I mean, you can have a lot of fun with words like pork and throbbing and sack and surprise and nibble and meat and muffin and daddy and weasel. I should probably stop reading these on camera. But it's sort of like the way I describe this, kind of like instant cake mix. So like if your cake mix is just add water, it doesn't really feel like baking, and it might feel like cheating. But if you have to add water and also one egg, then it's enough of an interactive process that you probably feel like you're the one putting the cake together. And so that it's because Sparkle Kitty Nights is about innuendo and not about just blunt, explicit language, it makes you add the one ingredient to get the giggles started.
And humor.
Yeah, and we found that it was totally fun. What you got, Diana?
Night surprise?
Nice!
Night surprise!
Let's see here.
I love this game.
A lot of the same rules still apply. You still have like the black magic cards that add a modifier to the words that you're saying. Okay, so sticky moist booty.
Yes!
But now they have Mirror Mirror.
Yeah, which is a white magic spell, which is how you get to peek at other players' alignment to see whether they're on the naughty team or the nice team.
It makes you say words both forwards and backwards.
Right. So sometimes, like, if you've got a combination of complicated words and enchantments, and some of these things can go back and forth and added words, and you'd think it's not a big deal until you're kind of in the heat of the moment and you almost win the game, and then you find out that you've actually not won the game because you forgot to say throbbing. Flutter night.
Aha. You're free!
See, I lied before. That was very good. That was a very good lie, right?
You forgot about your throbbing.
You're right. I did.
Oh!
Damn.
So close.
So close. It's within inches.
But we had a blast with this game.
Yeah.
Like it was more Sparkle Kitty, and that's all I could really ask for.
Yeah, it doesn't change the core of the game, but the teams make it fun in a different way. The art is from our preview copy is not final, so we're not sure how it's all going to look in the end, but actually what art is here does look fantastic. It's just like the original Sparkle Kitty, the Knights have a couple of different visual styles. I'm just going to put them up now. Bam! Alright. That bam was probably too loud.
Manny, the designer, actually said that they're going to be using more than one artist this time around. So you're going to get a lot more variety in the styles, and I'm excited. I can't wait to see how it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, if you liked Sparkle Kitty, get Sparkle Kitty Nights. If you haven't tried Sparkle Kitty, and the innuendo-ish nature of this version is not going to trouble you, then this may be the version to own. But the truth is, I could also see just mashing them all together and playing like giant epic versions of this game, which I'm sure the designers do not necessarily support, but I think is probably be a really good idea.
They'd probably have fun with it.
I'm sure they would. Overall, we can't wait for this Kickstarter to roll out, and we're sure it's going to do great. And it's another great little
Kitty box.
kitty box to add to the shelf. So the Kickstarter goes live on the 1st, on May 1st. We'll have links available as soon as it's up, and we totally think you should check out Sparkle Kitty Nights from Breaking Games.
Cool.
All right.
That was delightful.
That's all I
Yeah.
needed.
That was delightful.
Thanks for checking out this preview. If you'd like to see more of our reviews, the full-length ones, why don't you go ahead and click on Jess's face over there. If you want to see a few Game in a Minutes, which are nice and quick, go ahead and click on my face over here. And if you want to subscribe to us, click on the Sparkle Kitty box. Click it. Click it.